feel like I haven't had a morning this good in a really long time. I don't know if that's like high functioning anxiety where I feel like I've got to be doing multiple things at once. It is so easy for us to become distracted by this little device right here. Things like this that are good for my mental health and things that I want to put my time and energy into has actually switched up my mood a little bit, as opposed to like listening to news updates or like scrolling through Instagram stories. I am quitting social media. What is up, you guys? It's Leizel. Welcome back to my channel. So we are starting things off a little bit differently this week, and that is because I have decided that I want to give up social media. Now the reason being is because I honestly feel like I just need to do a bit of a reset. I don't know about you guys, but lately, for the past several months actually, I have found that social media has become a vice for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I love social media and I don't look at it in a negative light. However, I do find that I rely on it a lot to fill up spare spaces of time. Now, I know I'm not the only person who may have experienced this, but I was actually standing in line waiting for a coffee, and you know how it goes, you're waiting, you're kind of looking around, and then you just habitually start scrolling through your phone, typically on social media, and that's exactly what I was doing. And I don't know what it was, but I had a moment where I just looked up from my phone and I looked around and I realized that every single person around me that was waiting for a coffee as well, we were all doing the exact same thing. It just gave me a moment of like, what am I doing? Like, I will find myself grabbing my phone and just opening up social media without even a second thought, and I feel like it's definitely something that has become very habitual at this point. It's not like I'm thinking to myself like, let me go on social media and see like what's going on there. It's just something that I do out of habit, and I want to kind of learn how to break that habit a little more. This week I want to take the time to be very mindful of that and just delete it altogether. So having said that, I've made the decision to delete all of the apps that I want to take a cold turkey break from this week. And that's not to say that I don't like social media. I definitely see it as a tool, and a very effective one at that. And long gone are the days where it's just all about being social, like businesses are created on there. But I did find that there would be, as I said, moments of time where I don't even realize that I'm picking up my phone to just scroll on social media, because it really has become habitual for me. And that's the cycle that I want to break. I want to be more mindful of what I'm doing with myself and be more mindful of what I'm putting my time towards in my days. So that is exactly what I'm going to go ahead and do right now, is delete Instagram. It's gone. Honestly, like, I do feel a little bit nervous, and not because like I don't want to do this. I definitely want to do this, but I realize that I definitely rely heaviest on Instagram and TikTok. I feel like I wake up in the mornings and out of habit I will grab my phone as a way to help me wake up, and that's not healthy. Like, it is not healthy to use something like that to help you wake up. So goodbye TikTok. That is one that I spend a lot of time on as well. Twitter, I don't really spend as much time on that anymore. Snapchat, I can't even remember the last time I went on Snapchat. And what else do I want to delete? Oh yeah, and I'm gonna be deleting YouTube, which might be a little bit of a shock, but I feel like the whole point of this exercise and what I want to do for this week is to kind of, as I said, be more mindful of what I'm doing, but also break the habit of things being so easily accessible on this little device. Like, I don't mind taking the time to go on YouTube on my computer, but I find sometimes when things are so easily accessible on this little device right here, we are a lot more inclined to access it. So, I mean, if TikTok was only available on say a computer or a laptop, how much more likely would you be to use it very regularly? I don't think a lot of people would use it as regularly as they do, considering the fact that it is so easily accessible in the palm of our hands. So those are all gone now, and basically that begins my journey of documenting my week to kind of see what it's like. What I hope to get out of this is to just kind of cleanse myself of that routine, because I said it is very habitual for me to just grab my phone and take a break from whatever I'm doing and just do like a couple minutes of scrolling, which in turn can turn into like 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I realize like, oh my gosh, I have wasted so much time. So I guess all I can say now is wish me luck. I'm sure I'm gonna be fine, honestly, but we shall see where the week takes me. All right, you guys, it is currently just after 3:30. As you can see, I'm joined by my mom now.
Hello.
I'm actually filming every day this week. Usually I don't do weekly vlogs, but this is more like, it's not like a vlog, it's kind of like a, how do I call it, like a documentation. I am quitting social media. Yeah.
Social media diet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We did a 3 months social media
3 months?
diet.
Okay, this is just for 1 week. But yeah, at the moment, Mum came over obviously, and we've decided to go for a bit of a walk, get some fresh air, some vitamin D. It is a pretty overcast day today, but just get moving because I feel like it's important to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and
Well, I'm still sore. I'm still sore from the walk the other day.
Oh yes, we had like a big walk the other day and she's sore from that. So I said, okay, we better go stretch and do some more walking to help. So okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Let's go.
Alright you guys, so it is the end of my evening. I was just about to hop into the shower, but I figured that I should probably update you guys on day 1 without social media. So to be honest, it hasn't really been difficult whatsoever, and I think part of that would be because I've just been super occupied all day. I spent the first part of my day working and getting things done, and then the second part of my day was spent with my mum. We went out to go for a walk, we cooked dinner together, ate dinner together, watched some TV, and it like didn't even cross my mind for me to pick up my phone and want to go onto social media. The only thing that I would have to say is that now is probably the time when I would spend a good portion of time on social media, because I typically use it to kind of wind down. Like I've mentioned before that I try to spend the last like 30 minutes or so before bed reading, but best believe before I do that, I am spending a good portion of my evening just laying in bed, probably watching TikToks. And I also have to say that I don't have any negative relationship with social media. Like it's not as though going on social media makes me feel bad. It's quite the opposite. It is actually very motivating and inspiring, and it makes me feel a little more ambitious, because I feel as though my algorithms on my social media platforms are geared towards a lot of positivity, elevating yourself, uplifting yourself, motivating yourself, healing yourself, like a lot of good things. I really like the way that my feeds are naturally curated, but it's like you have to come to a point where you can take the information that you're being fed, you can receive it and actually do the action and do the work to do that. And I think I have realized that I do love social media and I love what it gives me, but I wasn't really actively taking what I was learning from it and putting it into practice. So that is another thing I wanted to say as well. It's not that I have a negative relationship with social media or that it makes me feel bad when I go onto it. It's just that I find I spend a lot of time on it. So that is just what I wanted to say, and that is my update for day 1. But like I said, right now I'm gonna go ahead, wind down, have a shower, get ready for bed, and not go on my phone for a few hours before I fall asleep. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, happy Tuesday. It is now day 2 of our social media detox. I feel like this is going to be a very long week, but this morning was actually a really good morning for me. I feel like I haven't had a morning this good in a really long time, to be honest. Surprisingly, I woke up at 5:30 this morning on my own accord without an alarm, and yes, I did go and grab my phone, and then I realized like, oh, okay, I don't have any social media apps. So I kind of just like made the conscious effort to just sit here in bed and take a moment to kind of just think my own thoughts and think for myself, because I feel like the problem and the issue with social media and going on it first thing in the morning is that you're in this state of mind where you're not fully conscious yet. You're a little bit like half asleep, half awake, and being stimulated by content can very easily sway your mood for the day. I do have a timer on my phone so that I'm locked out of majority of my apps till 7 a.m. But because I've been trying to get back into my regular routine for the past month or so, I've been sleeping in a lot, and that's totally fine. You know, we need to take time to rest, reset, regather ourselves. But yeah, this morning I woke up, went to go grab my phone, and even if I did have those social media apps on there still, I would be timed out and like locked out of them. But it kind of felt good to recognize that they weren't there and be like, okay, let me just consciously take the time to just sit with my own thoughts and let myself wake up that way. And I feel like it was very peaceful. I know this sounds ridiculous, but let me tell you guys, once you become so reliant on something to be a certain way or to have a routine of things, and breaking out of that cycle and that pattern can be difficult. And as simple as it is, like, don't go on social media, just sit with your own thoughts. Yes, that is very simple, but breaking out of that pattern, it's like a moment of awakening. I don't know how to describe it. I know this sounds very dramatic right now, but for anybody who may have experienced the same thing as me, where you find that you're grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, looking at your emails, your texts, social media, yeah, it can be very stimulating to the mind. And I feel like eliminating those distractions and being consciously aware that they're no longer there for you really actually helps a lot, and helps with making more mindful decisions to how you want to spend your time. Today's plans are actually to do some baking. My mom is coming over and we're going to be doing some baking together, and then we'll kind of just see where the day goes from there. So I will keep you guys updated. So a quick little check-in before I sign off for day 2 of our social media detox. I didn't update at all throughout the day today, just because, to be honest, there wasn't really much to update on. I feel like so far from what I've experienced, I haven't felt the need, obviously, to go on social media because I've been so busy. Yesterday I was with my mom, we were doing things. Today I was with her again, we were doing things. So there wasn't really any, again, like spare moments of time. So yeah, there wasn't really too much to update on throughout the day. And having said that, I don't think every single day of this week there's going to be like updates throughout the day. Maybe I'll just check in the morning and night, let you guys know what's up. But the good thing that I do want to update you guys on is that this evening, after my mom went home, I actually started doing a little bit of CBT, which, if you don't know what CBT is, it is cognitive behavioral therapy. I started doing some worksheets and exercises. This is something that I've wanted to do for a minute now, and I decided to take the time this evening to start. So we have here my worksheets so far. So yeah, it was a very chilly evening. I was just doing my worksheets and I got a lot done. It was, as I said, a very productive evening. And I feel like doing this, things like this that are good for my mental health and things that I want to put my time and energy into, a lot of the times my issue is that, you know, I would distract myself. I'll go spend a minute on social media, which turns into 20 minutes. So it was good to just sit there and really concentrate on what I was working on, and to just take the time to actually begin what I've wanted to do for a long time. So I feel like, again, that's the benefit of not having social media as a distraction, was that I really had no choice but to focus on the task at hand. So that was great, and I feel very good about that. But we shall see how things go tomorrow for day 3. That's all I wanted to update you guys on for now. And having said that, it is now time for me to wind down for the evening. It's a little bit later than usual, but I'm pretty much just gonna go take a shower, chill, read, and then knock out. So I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Good morning, you guys. Happy Wednesday. We are back for day 3 of our social media detox. Now, this morning I did sleep in, so I don't really have anything to report because as soon as I woke up, I was like up getting ready. I'm actually about to head out to go pick up my mom because she requested that I drive her to a specific place. So that's what I'm gonna do today, at least for this morning. To be honest, it kind of is a good thing that I decided to do this kind of self-care challenge this week because I've been busy every day so far. Usually I'm not always with my mom or doing something that heavily distracts me from what is part of my regular routine. So it's kind of a good thing. But yes, I am about to head out now, so we shall see what we get up to for today. Alright you guys, it is just after 5 p.m. I got home not too long ago, which does mean that I was out of the house for majority of the day today. So once again, I feel like I was pretty heavily distracted and not in my usual routine of things, which is kind of benefiting me in this instance. But there were a couple of moments where like my mom and I went to go get coffee together and I'd go to unlock my phone and then realize that there's not really anything to do on my phone. The fact that there aren't any apps on my phone, as I unlock it and I see there's nothing there, it makes me a lot more consciously aware to what I'm doing, because it's not like I see the app and I have to remind myself to ignore it. It's not even there. So then it triggers something in my brain that reminds me that I don't have that to resort to fill in little spaces of time or moments of boredom or whatever it may be. And as I've said many times throughout this video so far, I feel like we do that subconsciously without even realizing. Like we'll sit down to go and take a photo of something to add it to our stories, or to just have a quick scroll through social media while we're waiting for something, like if we're waiting for a meal. But to know that I don't have that there actually is a good feeling. So yeah, so far so good. Right now I'm actually just about to watch the brand new Gossip Girl. If you guys have seen it, let me know what you think. One thing as well is usually when I'm watching something, I have to be doing something at the same time. I'm very much a multitasker. I don't know if that's like high functioning anxiety where I feel like I gotta be doing multiple things at once, but to just sit here and focus on one task, that's like something that I struggle with, surprisingly. So I'll let you guys know how it goes, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and watch this and see what I think about it, because I feel like this new series or season or whatever it is has some expectations to live up to, so we'll see how I feel about it. Happy Thursday, you guys. I didn't update this morning and I realized just now that I didn't even update further yesterday, but there really wasn't anything further to update you guys on. I did finish watching that first episode of the reboot of Gossip Girl, and there is another episode that just dropped I think about an hour ago. So since it's already the evening, I'm about to unwind and go ahead and curl up in bed and watch that episode. I actually do like it so far. I feel like it's a lot more racially diverse and there's more sexual fluidity, which I think is great. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of carry the show. But besides the point, today's update, what can I tell you guys? Basically, something that I've noticed is that I feel as though I'm not as updated with current events or like world news. For example, I found out through the nightly news, or like a news update that was on TV, that another state in Australia is going into lockdown tonight, and I feel like I would have known of that sooner if I was on social media. And there's been times throughout this week where my mom has asked me about a specific news update and I'm like, I don't know, because I feel like I don't typically tune into the nightly news. I feel as though I get all my news from social media, whether I consume that through Twitter, through Instagram, even through little YouTube clips that seem to pop up in my recommendations. But yeah, without being on social media actively, I feel as though I'm not as up to date with world events and, as I said, like current updates and world news. So it's pretty interesting. I feel slightly disconnected in a way for that specific reason, just because yeah, without social media then I don't actively know what's going on specifically, I guess, but it just means that I need to find out through other means, like Googling something or even just watching the nightly news. So that is my update that I've noticed, is that I feel as though I don't obviously consume as much news, I don't receive as much news on things that are happening. Just with the current times that we're in, being that of the pandemic, I feel like it is important to stay updated on these things. Oh, actually yes, and I didn't know that our restrictions, like our mandates for wearing masks, were to be continued. They were actually meant to be lifted tomorrow, and if it wasn't for my mom telling me the news and the updates that the news had given, or what she'd seen on like Facebook or Instagram, then I wouldn't have known that that was something that was still mandatory and in place. If I analyze it in that way, like yes, it is a negative thing that I'm not on social media, for the simple reason that I feel as though I'm a little disconnected from what's really going on in the world, even just around me. So yeah, that is my update for today. In terms of how I've been feeling this week so far, to be honest, I don't know, I feel a lot lighter in mood. And that's not to say that social media ever brought me down, but just the feeling of not constantly like looking down at my phone, scrolling through things, or like waking up and laying in bed for an hour watching TikToks, or even just those random minutes of scrolling throughout the day, that does add up. Because I know for a lot of us, we feel as though like, oh, I don't spend as much time on there, I just a couple minutes here and there, but it really does add up. And I feel like, I don't know, I've just been feeling a lot better about myself, that I'm not spending as much time doing that. And I feel like I've been a lot more productive as well, and a lot more present, because as I said, pretty much, yeah, almost every single day this week I've spent with my mum, which is kind of out of the ordinary. We're not together every single day, but it just so happens that she had days off from work, so we were able to spend a lot more quality time together. And I do feel as though it is a lot more emphasis on the word quality, because I feel much more present and like I'm actually physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually and just all that like there, because I feel as though it is so easy for us to become distracted by this little device right here. I will update you guys again tomorrow for Friday. Honestly, this week has gone by pretty quickly, so it'll be interesting to see how things go from here. But till then, I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Good evening, you guys. Happy Saturday. Yes, we have fast forwarded a day because I didn't do an update yesterday, being that it was Friday. To be honest, it was a pretty uneventful day, and I think by the time I laid down in bed at the end of the day, I was thinking about like, what can I possibly update you guys on, and nothing really came to mind. It was kind of like all the same thing that I had said on previous days. So today was pretty busy for me. I did a lot of like house maintenance, if that's what you want to call it. I was like cleaned my car. I also even made time to go and spend time with my brother. We went and got dinner together, and also went to go see a movie, and I even washed my car today. So it was a pretty productive and eventful day. Now today, while I was cleaning, I was listening to like a few podcasts and music. Usually when I'm cleaning, I will listen, or kind of like half listen, half watch YouTube videos, kind of catch up on what's in my subscription feed. So I think that's one thing that I've noticed a lot this week, is that I have spent more time listening to podcasts. I have actually discovered like a few new podcasts that I actually really enjoy, and I've been listening to a lot more music as well. I've always been the type of person that just always loves to have music playing, but I feel like in recent times it's mainly been just something reserved for like when I'm in the car. But I feel like because I haven't been on social media, playing music in the mornings to help me like wake up, or even just as I'm getting ready, has actually switched up my mood a little bit, as opposed to like listening to news updates or catching up on YouTube content, or like scrolling through Instagram stories. So those are positive things that have kind of come as like substitutes for what I used to do. But it's funny because as I was like cleaning my shower today, I was scrubbing down my shower and listening to music. I was thinking to myself, like, it doesn't feel like this is only, what are we now, Saturday, so 6 days without social media. It feels like it's been much longer. And I think the only thing that I'm missing so far is YouTube, because I feel like that's my version of like, say, what TV is to a regular person. And maybe TikTok on occasions, just because I like watching like all of the inspiring and motivational content that seems to pop up in my algorithm. So I mean, yeah, I do slightly miss it, but am I struggling without it? Definitely not. I feel like I'm doing pretty fine without it. And to be honest, perhaps I will extend this, or this will become like a weekly ritual. Maybe I'll take like a day a week where it's like no social media. For now, as I said, it's Saturday evening, so tomorrow is Sunday, and I will catch up with you guys then. Once again, I am back with a daily update on how things are going. It is Sunday evening now, and I've just been sitting here editing back the footage that I recorded for this entire week so far. And it's so strange because I was watching like day one, the very first day, and it really doesn't feel like it was a week ago. It's strange. It feels like it was more than a week ago. Time this week has gone by slowly, but at the same time quick in a way, because I feel like that doesn't feel like it was only just last Monday. It feels like much longer ago than that, but at the same time it's like, damn, we're already like a week's past. I don't know how to explain it. It's such a weird thing. It's just interesting to reflect and see like what I felt at the beginning of this week to how I feel today. And in a way it's kind of good because I feel like it meant that this week didn't completely fly by in the blink of an eye, because I feel as though for the past several months I've really felt like that. Like my days have gone by really quickly. It really does feel like I spent a lot more time this week being more present and taking the time to be aware of that. So that is my update for today. Tomorrow will be one full week without it, and I guess I will sit down tomorrow to give you all kind of an overview of everything that I've spoken about in this video and just kind of talk about how I feel about it and where things will go from here. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Today officially marks one whole week without social media, and I thought I would sit down and kind of discuss the pros and cons of it all and just how I feel now having gone a week without it. So first off, I feel like this week really slowed down for me, which is definitely what I needed at this time. I feel as though I really wanted to do this, not just to kind of cleanse and detox myself of it, but to also reset and kind of get a different view on things. And it does feel as though it's been longer than a week, which is kind of a good thing, I guess. So that was a positive thing for me, was that I feel as though I had more time on my hands in a way, because like I mentioned in the very beginning, I felt as though I spent a lot of time filling up those spare spaces of time with social media, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, especially, you guys already know. So that's a positive thing. I really like that I felt as though things really slowed down for me. And honestly, not to say that I thought it was going to be really hard. This is not like I'm breaking some type of crazy addiction, but I didn't really miss it. Like, it wasn't something that I was craving for, if that makes sense. If anybody else is on social media and spends a lot of time on it like I do, then you may be able to relate. It wasn't something that I sat down and really missed. It was probably just the notions of the way that we kind of do things subconsciously. Like, for example, unlocking my phone and trying to go to the section where my apps would be, and then seeing that they weren't there. It wasn't necessarily that I was like wanting to be on them. It's just something that I would do out of habit, that I didn't even have to think about it. So being able to consciously be aware of the fact that that's what I was doing really helped to break the habit of unlocking my phone and going onto those apps, because it was like a trigger to tell me that they're not there anymore. So yeah, I think it's a positive thing that I didn't miss it as much as I thought I would. The only negative things that I could point out from what I can think off the top of my head would be the fact that I felt as though I was very disconnected from the world. I felt as though I wasn't really as up to date with things that were going on, whether it be in the media, news that I needed to know about, even things in like pop culture, like just random things like that. I feel as though being on social media so much and being fed that news without even having to look for it just meant that I was always up to date with things. But I feel as though taking a break from it and getting away from it meant that I didn't know what was going on, and I had to make the conscious effort to find out for myself, as opposed to being fed it automatically through what I saw on social media. Because I wasn't on it like that, I wasn't keeping up to date with certain things, and there were points in time where I was like, I had no idea this was going on, or I had no idea that was happening, or vice versa, because I just wasn't being fed that information. So from here on, I feel as though these little social media detoxes are something that I probably will want to put into practice more in the future, whether that be taking a day a week to really get away from being on social media, because I feel as though this 1 week reset and detox was something that I really needed for myself. And I feel like it kind of gave me a kick. It made me feel like I was able to cleanse myself of that routine and that habit and be more mindful, conscious, and aware of what I was putting my energy and effort into. So overall, I can definitely say that this was a positive experience. It was definitely something that was much needed for myself, to take time for myself and to kind of just cleanse myself of certain habits and rituals that I didn't even realize that I was taking part in. So I would recommend to any of you guys out there, even if you want to do like one day or a weekend, I would highly recommend it. Because to be honest, like, all of that stuff, whatever is on social media, all of that digital information, that's always going to be there. But being present in the moment and living our life day to day as it comes through each moment, that's not always going to be there. So I feel like taking a break from social media shouldn't be something that you feel like you need to play catch up on, because it's always going to be there. But taking time for yourself in this moment, that's something that you'll never get back. So those are my thoughts. That's my experience. Like I said, obviously I need to jump back onto it because it is my job, and I do feel as though not being on social media definitely has in some way affected my productivity in that sense, because I'm not posting, I haven't been responding to comments, I haven't been on it at all to look at anything and to keep up to date with things. So of course I need to jump back on it for work reasons, but for the time being, in terms of like mental clarity and my mental health and wellness, I feel like it's really benefited me. And from here on, I can definitely see myself being more aware of how I'm spending my time on social media and doing it in a more productive way rather than in a mindless way. So with that being said, that concludes this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are staying safe, looking after yourselves and looking out for each other. I will talk to you all in the comments, and I shall see you all in my next video.